Hey everyone, it's Jen, and I just want to share with you a little bit more about your activation for the School of Revival for this week. We are going to do an activity I like to call Stones of Remembrance, and that is basically remembering the testimonies and faithfulness of what God has done in the past, practically, so that we can remind ourselves, encourage ourselves, build ourselves up, and not forget what he's done, so that in those moments where we need fresh courage, fresh strength, fresh momentum, we can pull from those testimonies, encourage ourselves, and step into a greater measure of our destiny. And we know the story, the Israelites, a whole generation of Israelites missed out on their destiny and stepping into the promised land because they forgot the testimonies of God parting the Red Sea. And so a little context for what Stone of Remembrance even is Joshua chapter 3 and 4. Joshua, by following the presence, was able to go in the midst of the Jordan, I believe, and the Jordan River was parted, and they crossed over all the way across. And he says in chapter 4, he says, now I want you to go back and take up 12 stones from in the middle of that miracle, in the middle of the Jordan, right where the priest stood, and carry them over with you. And so they did. They went back after they had that breakthrough, that miracle. They went back into the middle, in the heart of where it happened. They got 12 stones from that place of the miraculous. And he said to them, this is going to serve as a sign among you. In the future, when your children ask you, what do these stones mean? Tell them that the flow of the Jordan was cut off before the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord. And when they crossed the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. These stones are to be a memorial to the people of Israel forever. And so they brought these stones, they put them on a side, and they set up a little memorial to remind the generations to follow them of the goodness of God and what he did in that moment. And so that's why we're going to also create stones of remembrance to remember what God's done in the past, not to necessarily worship these testimonies or icons, but just as a physical, physical sign to remember what God has done, so that we can encourage ourselves. So for your activation, what I want you to do is to pick one item. As you can see, I'm wearing this shirt. You may remember I was wearing this shirt when I was at the San Francisco airport for my miracle flight. This is a stone of remembrance. Every time I put this shirt on, I am reminding myself of what God did those years ago when he got me to England on that miracle flight. And so I can wear this shirt and I can encourage myself. You guys can see I'm wearing this necklace. This was a stone of remembrance I wore that same day. And this necklace was representative of Ephesians 3:20 kind of breakthrough that happened at Destiny House. And so this is another stone of remembrance. Pictures are stones of remembrance. This is a picture I have up in my room. It's a picture of, I don't know if you guys can see it, but of Destiny House, of just worshiping on a Friday morning. And whenever I look at that picture, I'm just reminded of all the encounters, all the breakthroughs, all the miracles, all the family, all the covenant, just all the beautiful things that God did in that season of my life. And it encourages me because I remember where I came from, and I remember how far God brought me. Another stone of remembrance I have stones of remembrance everywhere up in my room. I have pictures or things that just remind me and strengthen me and encourage me. This is another stone of remembrance I have. I'm not sure if you can see, but it says home on there. And I got this during a season where I didn't have a home for about over a year. I was in transition and traveling and didn't know where I was going to land. And I got this just because I wanted to remind myself and encourage myself that God is always my home, no matter where I go. And the coolest thing is maybe a year later, I put this necklace back on when all the transition had come and God had brought me full circle back home, back to teaching where I graduated from, back to the church I grew up in. And then when I put this necklace on in that season, it was like, wow, this is a stone of remembrance. This is actually now represented, not only is God my home, but of God's faithfulness through that season where he never left me and then he's brought me full circle. So I have this. I also have pictures. Some of you guys might recognize this. This is from my master's class in Texas. God just moved there. So pictures are great. Picture of Bonnie Bray House. I took my other class at Vanguard, and God just did an amazing time during worship. And so I look at these pictures. I wear these necklaces. I wear this clothes. I put pictures up, and it's just one way to remind and encourage myself of what God's done in the past, so that I don't forget where I came from, and I can step into a greater measure of my destiny when the time has come. I think it's 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 4 and 5. There's also the living stone. So besides these physical stones of remembrance, we are the living stone. We are a living testimony wherever we go. And so for your activation this week, I want you guys to do a 3 to 5 minute video. Don't do any longer than 5 minutes, because we want to be able to watch them all. Just do a little video and share with us what your stone of remembrance is and what it represents to you. So you can lift up, a necklace or whatever it is that you want to share with us. It could be a song, it could be really anything, and then share how that reminds you of a testimony that God has done in your life. And that will be your activation for this week. Try to do your phone. If you record on your phone, turn it to horizontal so we can see the full picture, and have fun with this. This will be really encouraging for you later on. Okay, thanks guys.